Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and honestly, I was like pausing Pocket for a little while because I wasn't super excited about the design of some of the stuff, but I have been looking through the new set and it looks really cool. Today I'm just going to be going over it, not into a ton of detail, because there's, of course, a bunch of cards from the set. This is A3. It has 239 cards, apparently, that's quite a bit. It's in the Alola region, which I like the Alola region. It's got some interesting cards. I talked about some of them already and wasn't a massive fan, but looking more now that like the full set is revealed, I think I really like some of the card design. I'll quickly talk about. I'll actually start with the trainers. We've got Big Malsada. This heals 10 and removes a random special condition from your active. Kind of weird that it removes a random one. I don't know how meaningful that will be. Big Malsada's Malasad is a card in the regular TCG, and it's kind of like the same thing. It's not super good, and I don't think it's super good here, but it's fine. Then we have Fishing Net here. This says put a random basic water Pokemon for your discard into here. And this is okay. There are these like random recovery cards, and I don't really like hate their enemies in this. I don't really love coin flips, but I think random trainer cards like this are fine. I don't know how good it is, but it doesn't seem bad either. It seems like it could definitely have some use cases. Water obviously has support already. I'd like to see some of the less supported types, like maybe metal or something, to get some more cards. But I mean, we have some stuff here. Then we see Rare Candy. Rare Candy is a pretty big deal. It's the same as regular TCG Rare Candy. I'm pretty sure you choose a basic Pokemon you have in play and put a stage 2 from your hand onto it. And you skip the stage 1, and then you can't use it on the first turn that Pokemon was put into play, or on a Pokemon on your first turn, right? So regular evolution rules, normal rare candy stuff. I personally actually don't love the design of this card because Pocket doesn't have super consistent card draw. So now you need a combo piece, and that's less consistent. It actually like does increase, I guess, the consistency of stage twos, meaning that you can have rare candy in the stage 2 instead of needing the stage 1. I think it's fine for Pocket. I don't think it's necessarily needed either. Looking at the Pocket metagame, actually, I don't know what this is. Okay, yeah, so this is not the new set. So you do see some stage twos. We see Galady X. I don't actually think Galady X is super good, but whatever. Charizard EX we got here. Rampardos, we got Magzone, we got Meowscarada, we got Beedrill, and there are more, right? So there's a bunch of solid stage twos in the game. Honestly, stage ones, I just don't think the stage ones are super good. There are some that are like fine though, and then it's not stage twos don't necessarily need rare candy, so I think this is it's fine, but I've talked about some already. Then we have Rotom Dex. This is actually it's pretty weak, but whatever, it's fine. Poison Barb is a tool here. It says if it's the Pokemon it's attached to is in the active and damaged by attack from your opponent's Pokemon, the attacking Pokemon is now poisoned. I actually think this card is quite good. I think this is Poison Barb from the regular TCG. I believe it's like the same. Yeah, it looks the same. So this card seems like good. I think the tools in Pocket are like very strong. I feel like they're because of the lower numbers, the tools in Pocket are pretty similar to the tools in the regular TCG. But obviously the regular TCG has higher numbers, so they're numbers wise, they're better in Pocket. I think this is still good. I don't think it's like insane, but I think it's pretty solid. Then we have Leaf Cape. This is another tool card, and it's a type specific tool card. It increases Grass Pokemon's HP by 30. That's pretty good. I'm not actually like a massive fan of this card design because and this is a video about card design, but also about some stuff that's good and bad. But we have Giant Cape, right? So Giant Cape is what's that? Was that Mythical Island, or am I imagining things? Maybe it was Space Time Smackdown, yeah. Giant Cape, 20 extra HP. Obviously, this is better for grass stacks. It's not like super interesting deck building or gameplay. It's fine. I'm not personally looking for more of these type specific cards, but it's fine. Of course, has synergy with grass stuff because you have like healing, and then of course with healing you need some tanking, so this will help with that. There's a bunch of supporters I'm not really going to go over, or actually I should in case as we go over the cards in the set. A Sorola moves 40 damage from one of your Palisand or Mimikyu to your opponent's active. Then we have Luma, which says put one colorless Pokemon that has damage counters on it into your hand. We have Kiawe, choose one of your Alolan Marowak or Turtonator, take 2 fire energy from the energy zone and attach it to it, then it ends your turn. It's kind of like an energy acceleration attack. Guzma here discards all tools attached to each of your opponent's Pokemon. I like this card. This is, I think, one that I did not cover before, and I like it because it's a card that It just feels like a fair disruption card. It doesn't feel like super broken. It doesn't seem bad. I think it's a card that is worth playing some. Not necessarily in every deck, but you could play it. And then it's I just like it. It's like it's more in general. Then you have Lana, which says you gust if you have Araquanid in play. So we'll talk about this with Araquanid at some point. Then we have Sophocles, which lets you do 30 more damage from your Alolan Golem, Vikavolt, or Token of Mario. I find there's a bunch of cards kind of like this, and I feel like they're kind of generic. And there's a bunch of them, right? And they do kind of the same thing except for different Pokemon. So I'm not a massive fan of the card design, but it's fine. Then we have Mallow, healing damage from Cyanotic or Serena, then discarding the energy. Then we have Lily, heal 60 from when you're stage 2. I kind of like that. And then we have the special arts. I'll actually quickly look through if there are any that look really cool to me. And we got some more shiny Pokemon. This is actually good. And I was kind of weird. I was kind of disappointed by Shining Revelry. It didn't have that many shining Pokemon. Shiny Pokemon. It had like some, but not that many, which I felt like I don't care that much about it as a a TCG player, but collectors obviously care about it, and it's a cool thing. And there's more shiny Pokemon in the this set than the Shining set, so that's kind of weird, but it's cool, I guess. Obviously, kind of would have probably made a little more sense in the last set, but still cool to see them. And yeah, I mean, there are some kind of fun arts. Not going to dive into it that much here or really anywhere, but there's some kind of fun stuff. I like this type of Coco because I think it's a cool Pokemon. But anyways, let's get into the bulk of the set, the Pokemon here. If I can click, and we have a bunch of cards here. I'm not going to talk about all of them, certainly. For example, we've got Alolan Exeggutor, fun Pokemon, right? In the TCG, it tends to have some like kind of cool cards, but it's a coin flip card. It's like a very swingy coin flip card, so I'm not a big fan of that. I don't mind some coin flips, for example, something like Quick Attack, I think is fine, but I'm not a big fan of something like this, where if you hit it, it's like insane. If you don't, it's terrible. And also, it's like this card I don't think is particularly good. But then we have Decidueye EX. I don't remember if I don't know it. I don't think we talked about this. This one is kind of interesting. We have 2 attacks. They're both 2 energy. The Razor Leaf is just 80 for 2, which is pretty simple, straightforward. And then 100 for 2 colorless. It does 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon with damage on it. This is cool. I like the Pierce of Pain attack here. Has synergy with something like Greninja. It's pretty good. I feel like Razor Leaf is kind of whatever. And it's kind of weird. Like, it's generic, it does less damage, and it's like harder to use. So I don't really know exactly the use case of Razor Leaf if you want to be going down that route or just use Pierce the Pain. Obviously, you can't always just use it. And Rowlet and Dartrix are okay, yeah, there's 2 routes, but yeah, they're all grass. So you'll probably be playing grass, then be using Razor Leaf, which I think is fine. And you have 2 attacks that are the same cost, and I like cards like this. I think this is cool. Then we have Lurantis as a generic spread attack, but that's fine enough. We have Shining and another coin flip card. It's like a true swingy coin flip card. Then we have Wimpod and Golisopod. I actually think these are kind of cool. This is something we see in the Pokemon TCG. I think we've seen this exact ability. Turn 1 going first, or no, turn 1 going first or second. Then it has no retreat, which is fine enough. And then first impression here for 3 grass on a Golisopod. It does 60. If it moves from the bench to active, it does 120 though. This is reminiscent of some Wimpods and Golisopod we've seen before. Notably, I actually don't love the design of the Wimpod because it's like super swingy between the free retreat and the 3 retreat, but that's kind of like the point as well. I think there's a callback to some other cards. Golisopod's cool. It's not like cheap. I would have rather been cheap and like weaker, but it's still fine. And then we have Dhelmise EX. This one, it just is 80 for 3 and stops retreating. Oh, and it's a basic as well. It's all right. I mean, I think grass is a good type. You obviously have Leafeon EX, you have Celebi EX, you have some like good cards. Honestly, I'm not as familiar with the Shining Revelry stuff. You have Meowscarada and Beedrill EX, but that's like different, right? Those are cheaper stage 2, so that's a different style of deck. It's supposed to more expensive basics. I don't think Dhelmise EX is anything special though. Got a Tapu Bulu, nothing crazy here. We have an Arcanine with definitely nothing crazy here. We have a little Marowak here for 2 fire and a colorless to do 70, flip 2 coins. 70 for each heads, and at least one's heads, your opponent's active is now burned. Kind of whatever there, nothing crazy. You can accelerate, I think, with the Kiawe, but it's kind of awkward there. Talonflame certainly not very interesting. Incineroar though, or Incineroar EX, this one I do kind of like. You have 2 attacks, and these are like moderately interesting attacks. You have Fire Fang for 1 fire, you do 30, and then burn, and then which is 20. Essentially, I'll just say it's 20 extra damage. Could be more, but it's probably just 20. And then you have Scar Charge Smash here, which does for 3 energy, 2 extra fire. 80 if it has damage on it, you do have 180 HP, and then it has 60 more. So Incineroar EX here is going to be doing, pretty solid damage, nothing insane. I think this card is kind of cool though. And this is one of the cards I was like, okay, I kind of like the design. I like the design of the Incineroar EX, and this is Joy EX. I was hoping for cool things from them, and I think I have not been disappointed so far. Nothing crazy, though. We got some Oricorios. Nothing too crazy. This one can discard a random energy, or it does. It's not a coin flip. It will do that, and it does 40, but nothing crazy. We got Turtonator. I think this is one that goes with Kiawe, which is okay, but nothing crazy in my opinion. Alolan Sandslash is kind of interesting here. Spike Armor just is 20 for 1 water, but then during your opponent's next turn, if you're hidden 2, you do 40 to the attacking Pokemon. So kind of like a Rocky Helmet, we see things like this some, and this is like fine. It's not insane, but kind of interesting there. You have Alolan Vulpix here, which takes a water energy from your energy zone and attaches it to itself. Oh, that's not crazy. I thought it was to something else. Then we have a Blizzard Spread attack here. And then we got some more Pokemon that have already had cards, getting some more, nothing super crazy with that. Primarina here. Oh, this does not get an EX. Well, sorry, Primarina fans, if you exist. I don't really know anyone who likes Primarina, especially more than Decidueye and Incineroar, which I think are kind of cool. If you're a Primarina fan, though, comment that down below, because if you're not, also comment, because I want to get some comments. But yeah, this one says once during your turn, you may heal 30 from each of your water Pokemon. Kind of interesting, kind of like Irida. It's different though. It's definitely not the same as Irida. This is water Pokemon. Irida is not necessarily water Pokemon. So some interesting things there. But there was like a stage 2, and we do have rare candy, but I would not be running this without the stage 1, like a stage 2 box or like something like that. I don't think that makes it that much better. It's okay. Crabominable EX here is really interesting, or I think it's interesting. It has high HP for stage 1 EX. It's got 160, then it does 40, but next turn it does 80, and so it'll be doing 80. It does not like keep stacking, but it'll do 80, 80, 80, or I guess 40, 80, 80, 80, etc. So you can heal this as well. We have like the Primarina. We have there are lots of different healing cards, and I think this is interesting because it does solid damage. It's like it's a tanky, cheap Pokemon. I kind of like cards like this. It reminds me kind of Alolan Executor EX, which I like. I mean, it's coin flippy, but I do like that card. So a pretty similar mold, and I like this card. We've got Wishiwashi and Wishiwashi EX. It's a really interesting combo here. Wishiwashi for 1 water does 30, and then you get a random Wishiwashi or Wishiwashi EX from your deck onto your bench. This makes more sense than like the Coughing Like It, which was kind of weird. But then you have School Storm for 3 water. It does 30, but it does 40 more for each of your benched Wishiwashi and Wishiwashi EX, which can be doing, of course, up to 150, which is quite a bit, on your bench. So this is cool. It's also 170 HP basic Pokemon. That is quite a bit of HP. It's not super strong, and the Wishiwashi is kind of weak, right? The single prizer, the single point, the baby Wishiwashi, but still pretty interesting. I think this will be a fun deck for people. Then we have Mewtwo with Inner If this Pokemon is in the active and knocked out, you do 50 to the attacking Pokemon. A funny Pokemon, nothing crazy going on with the design though. Talk about Alolan Raichu EX, which I think is fine. It's colorless, which is cool. Pikachu is also a colorless, or no, sorry. It's obviously a lightning Pokemon with colorless attack cost there, so you can do Psychic for 60, 30 more for each energy attached to your points active, and it can be put into anything. So that's like kind of fun. Nothing super crazy, but it can be put into different decks. We have pretty generic Alolan Golem here, and some generic cards. We got Heliolisk. Is this new? This is, the other Heliolisk is also pretty generic and not super good. We have Vikavolt though. This one, okay, this is something I was wondering if they were gonna add. I think this is cool. I guess I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I stand on this, but it's disconnect for 2 lightning, 70, and item locks. Item locking in pocket isn't as big a deal at all as it is in the regular TCG. items are really important in the regular TCG, and so are supporters. But supporters are really important in Pocket. They're not as important in or the items are not though, right? You'll be playing some. It's not like it's meaningless, but this is like turn 2, turn 3, turn 4 item lock. This is okay. It's not super strong. I don't actually love item lock in the game in general, but I think it's fine here. It does add something to the game, and they're trying to do cool to new things, and I like that. And these cards won't be around forever either. They'll be rotated, presumably, at some point. I'm pretty sure on that one. Then we have Oricorio here. Oricorio is also a really big deal. Safeguard here says prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX. I think cards like this are really important to stop, EXs, right? EXs are really good in the game right now. Looking at the top cards, or the top decks here, just on Limitless, almost all the attackers are EX. Like most, like 2/3, right? I mean, like not counting like Manaphy, right? And like Lucario, they're not really attackers. They can attack, and they can get through. Well, no, Manaphy can't. Manaphy is not doing damage, but some of them can get through, and they're like single press previous evolutions, stuff like that. But Oricorio, I think, is a good card for the game. I also like Lightning. That's my favorite type, and I like how it is done in Pocket. I actually don't even like love Lightning in the regular TCG, but I like it in Pocket here, and I'm definitely gonna be playing Oricorio. This is really good. I think Pikachu actually is still good. So, then we have the some other cards which aren't super interesting. You got Togedemaru, and Tapu Koko. And Tapu Koko is a hit and run Pokemon. So that's interesting. You can switch to the Oricorio, I guess is the idea here, and then be doing damage like that. So that's actually really interesting. What does the Sophocles increases damage by Togedemaru, Alolan Golem, or Vikavolt. Okay, so you can use that with Vikavolt, which is kind of good, or Togedemaru, I guess, or Alolan Golem, but like it's pretty strong. Not that the extra damage isn't good, but like it's not exactly the biggest priority. Like how are you getting 4 energies, right? Anyways, you can definitely use it on Vikavolt, so I'll mention that with that Sophocles with Vikavolt. But then you have Tapu Koko here, which is really interesting here. Hit and run into Oricorio probably, or it could be something else, and then you're going to be doing solid damage. Like this, even in the regular TCG, this is pretty solid hit and run. Because hit and run's kind of bad in the regular TCG. You have like the Feraligatr deck, but that one doesn't work very well. So this is pretty interesting. But how to get the energies on? I mean, you can use Pachirisu, right? Pachirisu does energy acceleration. It's just 1 to 1, so it's not insane, but you could definitely do that. And then, yeah, I mean that's just kind of cool. And then we have, I've not also looked at all these cards, by the way. We got a Coin Flip and Mr. Mime. We have a Retreat Locking Sableye. And then we have Bayonet, which says during your opponent's next turn, they can't take any energy from the energy zone to attach it to their active. That's interesting disruption. I don't think it's super like difficult to like deal with, but I think it's fair disruption. I think disruption is kind of cool to have in the TCG. Not something that it desperately needs, but it's kind of nice at times to break things up a little bit. And I think this is fair. I don't think it's like overly obstructive, but it will slow down your opponent some. And then we have this Oricorio. This one, I don't know what this form is called. I don't know the Oricorio forms, but this one with Spiteful Dance here, it does for 1 Psychic 20, but if any of your Pokemon are knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, it does 60 more. That's 80 for 1, which is super efficient. That's really interesting. It kind of reminds me of like Marshadow, and I think Oricorio is. I think it's quite good. I don't know exactly its use case because this is like mid game, and then your opponents, or then your opponent's probably kind of set up, and now you're swinging with for 80, which isn't like it's probably not that much at this point in the game, but still it is something interesting to take note of. We have Comfey. Comfey says each of your Pokemon with Psychic Energy, and if special conditions don't affect it, it'll get recovered, stuff like that. So that's kind of interesting. Obviously, Psychic has a lot of cards, as in the regular DCG, so getting some more support here. Mimikyu can heal. Nothing. Oh, actually, yeah, Mimikyu. Oh no, sorry, it does 20 to one of your Pokemon. It's like healing. That's insane. Yeah, I misread it. So it does 60 for 2 and does 20 to one of your Pokemon. Kind of interesting. Don't know if it's good. Then we got Tapu Lele here. Energy Arrow. Okay, it does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy attached to that Pokemon. So this can do big snipe damage. Kind of interesting. I could definitely see playing this in some decks, though it is somewhat situational, but it's pretty good. Its stats are just generally pretty solid. Nothing insane. Lunala EX, I talked about some. You can move energy from your Psychic Energy from your your bench to your active. It's kind of like Vaporeon, but it's a stage 2 EX and it's not super strong attacking. I think Lunala EX is kind of whatever. Um, I thought I saw this card and I was like, yeah, this is all right. Nothing super crazy going on with it though. Oh, but it is from the same evolution line as the Solgaleo EX. Unfortunately, Solgaleo EX is a bunch of metal energy and Lunala EX is a bunch of psychic energy. Well, it's just one, but its ability is a bunch. Presumably, that's what you want to be doing. So, Solgaleo EX doesn't like fit. You know, they're just kind of different things. This is like it switches in and it can do damage. I personally would like to see Solgaleo EX and Lunala EX work together. I've liked cards like that, but this is fine. Then we have some fighting Pokemon, which don't look super exciting. We do have Conkeldurr, which has Guts, which gives it immunity half the time. Again, not a big fan of cards like this. We do see these in the regular TCG as well, sometimes. So I don't love it, but I know some people do like abilities like this. Then we have some Lycanrocs. This one can, on a coin flip, remove energy, and this one can, it says if your opponent's active has more HP remaining. This Pokemon does 50 more, so it can do 100 there, which is fine, I guess. Actually, no, that's pretty solid against a lot of Pokemon. They're not insane. Passimian EX here, okay, no, actually, Lycanroc, you can boost the damage. I think Lycanroc, this one is pretty good, like the Night one or whatever. Then we have Passimian EX with Offload Pass. If this Pokemon is in the active and knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, move all fighting energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. So it's got energy like saving built in. Its stats aren't super good. Again, this fighting, you have Lucario. Lucario is good, but I think this card's like all right. You don't really want to be getting knocked out all the time. You're a basic EX, so I don't know. It's fine. I definitely don't hate this card. Then we have Minior, which is 40 snipe. I like probably Hitmonlee more than this, but it's all right. It kind of hit the active as well. Eradicate for 2. It discards your own card to your opponent's hand. It does 50, so that could be disruptive and annoying. Alolan Persian takes some less damage. Is the Alolan Persian one that works with one of these cards? I don't think it is. Anyways, you got some stuff. You got that, which probably isn't very good. We got Alolan Muck EX, and this one has a bunch of text. Okay, so Chemical Panic for Darkness, Colorless, it does 80, has 160 HP as well, but it says one special condition from among all of them, right, is chosen at random. Oh, and then your opponent's active is now affected by that special condition. Any special conditions already affecting that Pokemon will not be chosen. Okay, that's kind of long. It says the special conditions: asleep, burned, confused, paralyzed, and poisoned. So I mean that's like all of them, right? So I don't know why it says that, but whatever. Long text. It's nothing crazy, but it's something. Kind of fun there as well. Then we have Absol Unseen Claw. If your opponent's active is affected by a special condition, it does 60 more. So some special condition synergy there. Then we have a Garbudo, which poisons. Then Toxapex, which is a bunch of coin flips. It's like kind of fun, but nothing super strong. Alolan Dugtrio, some more coin flips. We got Escavalier doing 30 and then 20. Not terrible, honestly. Klefki, 10 and draw. I do like draw cards like this. It's not super strong in drawing that much, but it's kind of cool to have. We got Magirna. Oh, okay, this one 40 for 2 metal, but if your opponent's active as an ability, it does 80. So I think that's pretty good. Abilities aren't on like all the best cards, but they're on quite a few of them. So that's like kind of cool to have there. You look at something like Giratina, EX, Darkrai EX, or Arceus DX or something like, there are some that is hitting, but not all of them, but it's kind of nice to have. Then we have some Dragon Pokemon. We don't have that many, but we still have some. And we got Berserk here on Drampa, 2 colorless. If any of your bench Pokemon have damage on them, it does 70, otherwise it does 20. That's okay. There's some synergies there with like Mimikyu and stuff, so I don't hate that. Also, oh yeah, there's the Acerol, which heals the Mimikyu and the Palossand, but they don't have what type is Palossand? Is it fighting? Mimikyu certainly does not have very much health. Palossand, I think also doesn't have very much health. And it has some health, but it's certainly not super impressive there. Then we have the Komodo line. This one for lightning fighting does 130. Then next turn it takes 30 more from attacks. Actually reminds me quite a bit of Rampardos. Wait, except like it does less. Or wait, no, it does the same amount. But it's more energies, right? It's just one more energy, and also Yeah, that's like the big down. Oh, and they can't use like Lucario, which is like, that's not ideal. So this just seems like a bad Rampardo. Oh, okay, it's not like a fossil, so that's great. But like this, like the attack's like worse substantially. Anyways, and then we have Delcatty. Delcatty is actually really interesting. This is a colorless Pokemon, and for one colorless, it does 30, and you take a colorless energy from your energy zone and attach it to one of your bench Pokemon. I think this is the first card that does this, that gets colorless energy. I'm not 100% sure, but that's kind of interesting. Hawlucha does 50 to darkness Pokemon, so that's kind of interesting for one colorless. Others does 20. I don't know how good it is, but it's worth noting, I think. We got to beware. We got an Oranguru here, which for two colors does 40 during your opponent's next turn. Attacks used by the defending Pokemon costs one colorless more. Ins for two costs is also one colorless more, so a bit disruptive there. Then we have Kamala here. This one has Comatose as long as it's in the active. Whenever you attach an energy from your energy zone to it, it is now, oh, it's asleep. Okay, that's kind of bad. I can do 70 for two, though, which is not bad. Overall, the cards, I think they're kind of fun. I don't think there's anything like absolutely crazy, but there are definitely some cards that I kind of want to mess around with some. But tell me down below what you think of this set. But make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the good stuff. And I hope you enjoyed. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.